alive!
Hi guys, welcome to a very special episode of Just Born Movies, the review show where we take movies straight out the Hollywood womb and we dissect them for you. My name is Joseph Tapia. With me, my guest today is Paul Workman. Paul, why is today a special episode?
Because we're going to be talking about the Oscar nominations. Everybody loves to hear people talk about the Oscar nominations, so why not us?
Exactly. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But to start us off, let's talk about the movies we wish we were talking more about. I'm talking about the snubs. Paul, what snubs do you think deserved a little bit more this year?
I'm going to start out with what I think was the biggest snub of the year, which was Blade Runner 2049 for Best Picture. It's a beautiful film. It's possibly one of the best films of the decade, if not in sci-fi in general. I wish the Academy would have gone for the top spot on it just to show a little bit more faith in genre filmmaking. Because everything at the top is really nice, but most of it's really standard Oscar fare. Except maybe Get Out, which is still my favorite film of the year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. 2049 was easily one of, if not the, my favorite film of the year. It's just so well done. It is amazing to watch. So the movie that I really liked this year that I think got snubbed the most was The Florida Project. Now, this movie takes place in Orlando in a very poor community out on a strip of hotels right outside of Disney World. And it sets you up with a lot of interesting characters, and you really see the struggle of these characters' lives, and it really is a true depiction of what some people have to go through. Of course, you got Willem Dafoe, who got that supporting actor nomination.
Right.
Very deserving, and honestly, I hope he gets it, but I feel like it could have been a real contender this year. If it just had built a little bit more momentum in its release. So Paul, where do you think we should start?
How about we go through the technical awards real quick? I'm a real big tech junkie. Behind the camera is always something that I love, but a lot of viewers don't tend to want to stick around through that. So we'll just blow through those, say who we think should win, and we'll probably skip over all the short films and the documentaries, because unfortunately we don't get a lot of those around here unless they go to Netflix or Hulu or we just don't get to see them. So.
Yeah, very unfortunate. But stick around because we're going to be talking about the heavy hitters later on in the video. Which category did you want to start with first?
Let's go ahead with the sound mixing and sound editing.
Sound mixing and sound editing, okay.
Which sound mixing, we have Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. Personally, if you can't tell from my bookshelf behind me, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I'm going to be rooting for Star Wars in just about every category it's in. So Star Wars The Last Jedi is my pick, though I think possibly Blade Runner 2049 is going to pick it up.
I feel like I totally agree with Paul here. 2049 on all technical levels was absolutely stunning. I also going to say maybe Star Wars can get it.
I feel like it could. I'm not sure it will, but I think it could, especially just for the hyperdrive scene.
Yes, that particular usage of how they use a lack of sound is incredible.
And then that little whom that brings you right back into the scene, just incredible.
Yeah. So
sound editing, again, it's all the same 5 films. Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. Again, I'm rooting for Last Jedi, big Star Wars nerd, but I'm thinking Blade Runner 2049 again.
Yeah, same.
Best film editing, we have Baby Driver, Dunkirk, I, Tonya, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
You know, I think I'm going to have to either go with 3 Billboards or Dunkirk. Those are the ones I think might get it. Another strong possibility is Shape of Water. Baby Driver also, I think it's just in there as like a red herring. I will say that I've only seen 3 of the movies of the 5 movies in this category. I will say that the opening scene of Baby Driver, when they're getting away from the heist, the getaway there, is very well edited. I will say Shape of Water is incredibly well edited. But I really think it's going to be Three Billboards or Dunkirk.
I would like to see Baby Driver win it because I've always been a fan of the style of editing that Edgar Wright puts in his films. So it'd be nice to see Edgar Wright, at least in some way, get acknowledged by the Academy. But honestly, my biggest pick would be I, Tonya. I love the way that I, Tonya is edited, the way it goes from these ridiculous interviews into all the insanity that happens in the film. But I think Shape of Water is probably going to end up taking it.
Yeah.
Next, we have Best Visual Effects. Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes.
Now, for this one, there's a clear front runner for this one. It's Blade Runner 2049, in my opinion. If there's any other one that's going to get it, it's either going to be Last Jedi or... And I really hope, as a third pick, I would be okay with War of the Planet of the Apes. Kong Skull Island doesn't stand a chance. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was really, really well done, but again, I'm not sure it stands up against 2049.
Again, Star Wars is my pick. It's going to be my pick every time. And I'm going to say specifically for the Porgs, because Porgs are adorable, and they were used to cover up puffins on the actual island that they were shooting on. So just that little bit of knowledge makes me want Star Wars to win, as well as the fact that I think it should. But I think Blade Runner 2049 is going to get it because it was gorgeous.
It was just gorgeous.
Just gorgeous.
Anyway, this is the video where we talk about 2049 a lot.
A lot. Well, at least right now, because it should have been nominated for Best Picture. Best Production Design. Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and Shape of Water.
This one is a little bit difficult. I've only seen 3 of the 5 nominees. Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner, and Shape of Water were the ones that I did see. I never saw Dunkirk or Darkest Hour. Haven't seen them yet. This one's difficult. I'm gonna have to say Shape of Water.
I'm actually gonna go Shape of Water. Not only is it my pick, but I think it's the film that's gonna win. It's a beautiful film. Everything, all the sets are incredible. They all work perfectly for what they're meant to do. They serve a good function on top of just looking absolutely gorgeous. Next is Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Darkest Hour, Victoria and Abdul, and Wonder.
Now, I didn't really get to see these movies yet, so I can't really be an authoritative voice on the subject. Paul, which one really stands out to you?
Now, the only one I've actually seen is Darkest Hour, but I've taken a look at Wonder and Victoria Abdul as far as why they're nominated for Best Makeup. And though I think Wonder is a real nice looking as far as the makeup for the child in the film goes, I really got to go Darkest Hour because Gary Oldman is Winston Churchill in that film. He's not Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill. He is Winston Churchill, the way that I would say Jamie Foxx was Ray. You just see him sometimes and you're like, oh my god, Winston Churchill's come back to be in a movie about himself.
Yeah, I've seen the promotional material for all of these. I'm going to have to agree, Darkest Hour. I saw an interview with Gary Oldman where he talks about the only way he would commit to this movie is if he had his personal choice of makeup artist and hairstylist. So I have to agree, Darkest Hour.
Yeah. Best Costume Design. Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, Shape of Water, Victoria and Abdul. The film I think should win it and might possibly do it is Phantom Thread. I think it would be a little ironic if a film about a dressmaker didn't win Best Costume Design. That and the costumes were all gorgeous.
Yeah.
Every costume in this film is beautiful. Even he comes down to dinner at one point in this pajama suit with a vest and a jacket, and it looks absolutely ridiculous, but it works. It gets a good laugh, and it's a great moment.
I'm so glad you said Phantom Thread because that was honestly my first pick too, and I just didn't want you to judge me, so I let you go first.
All right, best cinematography: Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Mudbound, The Shape of Water.
Do we need to even talk about this category?
I would like to talk about it a little bit because this is the best category of the year right now.
It is.
Every film on this list, all 5 of these films, I have credited as being some of the most beautiful work I've ever seen. I wish Phantom Thread were on here.
Yeah.
But Paul Thomas Anderson didn't have a credited cinematographer, so they couldn't nominate anybody for it. So that doesn't get put on here, even though it is a gorgeous film. You can watch our review about that on the channel right now. But yeah, I think you're right. Blade Runner 2049.
It's Roger Deakins has been nominated for what, 13?
This is his 13th award
13.
nomination, I believe.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen 2049 yet, pick it up, see it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Just go watch the trailer. You get a really good sense of how beautiful this film is just watching the trailer.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes of that.
And your eyes thank you for it.
Yes. It's absolutely gorgeous film. Again, all of the films on here are beautiful.
Darkest Hour, there were moments, I went and saw that film with a friend of mine, and there were moments where I just leaned over to him to point out the way that some things were shot. Particularly, there's a lot of moments where they kind of square off the screen and kind of isolate Gary Oldman in the shot to make his isolation as one, a character, and two, a presence in history. It's a beautifully shot film, but Blade Runner 2049, I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Next is Best Animated Feature: The Boss Baby, Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent.
So this is another category in which I haven't seen any of the nominees yet, but I know enough about these films to make an educated guess as which one I think will win and which one I want to win. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that Loving Vincent looks absolutely stunning. That's the one I want to win. I would also be okay with Coco winning, and I think Coco will win. Now, if you haven't seen the Breadwinner, it's very, very good as well. I've only heard very good things about that film, and unfortunately, I didn't get to make it out to see it.
Again, I've seen two films off this list. I didn't get to the theater as much as I like this year. I've been playing catch up recently, but I saw The Boss Baby and I saw Ferdinand. I have 2 young boys, so we watch a lot of cartoons and a lot of cartoon movies. And those 2 were, well, Ferdinand was fine. Ferdinand was real cute. Boss Baby's not so great. I wish Lego Batman would have been put in this category, but neither this nor the Lego Movie got nominations. So thank you, Academy. I feel like Coco is almost a clear front runner. Pixar's hard to bet against, and artsy animated films don't tend to win, which is a real shame because Triplets of Belleville didn't win, Anomalisa didn't win, Persepolis didn't win. So these are all great artistic films that just kind of got passed over because they tend to go for Pixar.
And I agree. I mean, you think about the 2 standouts here, The Breadwinner and Loving Vincent, clearly 2 animated movies whose demographic aren't children. I don't see why they can't be contenders as well.
Yeah, and Loving Vincent has just picked up nothing but praise. So it's a real shame, like I said, but the arty animated films don't tend to win.
Yeah.
Best Original Score.
Ooh.
Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, Shape of Water, Star Wars The Last Jedi, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Now, I've seen 4 out of 5 here. I haven't seen Dunkirk. I'm going to have to go with Phantom Thread.
I love that Phantom Thread score. Johnny Greenwood just lays it under there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful score. I also loved Hans Zimmer's score for Dunkirk. It so much so that I was watching it with my wife who's not a big movie buff, who doesn't pay attention to a lot of technical stuff like I do, and she leaned over to me at some point and said, "This music has me so on the edge of my seat right now. I'm I'm so nervous, and it just keeps up like that, and it keeps tension throughout the entire film, and I absolutely love it. But as I keep saying, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Let's get John Williams' 6th award. 6 awards. The man's been nominated 51 times. That honestly, watching Star Wars: The Last Jedi, the way he used motifs and leitmotifs for his characters, the way he incorporated themes from other Star Wars films underneath. It's breathtaking. It's a really breathtaking score. It might not be my favorite, but best original song: Mighty River from Mudbound, The Mystery of Love, Call Me by Your Name, Remember Me, Coco, Stand Up for Something, Marshall, This Is Me, The Greatest Showman.
I'm gonna have to say, I haven't seen Mudbound, Coco, Marshall. I have seen Call Me by Your Name, and I will say that all the music in there, all the songs, are very well used, and they evoke what is needed from you as an audience member. So I'm gonna have to say The Mystery of Love.
I think all the music from Greatest Showman is boring, so I'm really upset that this got a nomination at all.
It's bland, yeah.
I'm really tired of Diane Warren getting nominated for awards because she's a terrible songwriter, even though she did write the song with Common, who already has an Academy Award, so keep that in mind. Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez got their award for Frozen, so I'm fine with them not winning. Sufjan Stevens is a great musical artist, and I would like to see him win an award, but if we're going to nominate Mary J. Blige for 2 awards, please give her 1. So she's not going to win Best Supporting Actress. I think she should win this song.
So now we're getting kind of into the heavy hitters here. So what's our next category, Paul?
All right, we're going to go into the screenplay categories. We're going to start with original screenplay, which is Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
All right, so this one's a difficult one.
Yeah, this is a really hard category because all these films are phenomenal. All these films, I think Big Sick's probably the least likely.
Yeah,
considering this is the only nomination it picked up. It's a phenomenal film. It is beautiful, and the fact that it was written by the real life married couple the film is based off of also is inspiring. But I just don't think it's going to win this one.
I'm going to say 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Martin McDonagh is a wonderful writer. If you haven't seen In Bruges or 7 Psychopaths, please go out and do it. If you haven't read his plays,
oh yeah, please go read some of his plays. Pillowman, Beauty Queen of Leenane,
Cripple of Inishmaan.
Just a lot of great work by this man, and it'd be nice to see for a second year in a row a playwright turned film writer get an award, because last year it was Kenneth Lonergan.
Now, that's who I think the Academy will pick, and I'm okay with that pick. Who do I want to win? I'd be okay with Greta Gerwig picking it up for Lady Bird as well.
I would also really like Greta Gerwig to win this, because Greta Gerwig owns my heart as far as film writing goes right now, because this and Frances Ha were really, really wonderfully written films. And I would really like to see her take home at least one of the 2 awards she's up for. Because, again, I don't think she's going to win Best Director, but we'll get into that.
All right, so our next category.
Best Adapted Screenplay. Call Me By Your Name, The Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound.
Now, I got to see The Disaster Artist, Call Me By Your Name, and Logan. I didn't get to see Molly's Game, and I haven't seen Mudbound yet. I think there's a couple ones you can clearly eliminate here. The Disaster Artist being one, which is a great film. It just never really stood out as like Oscar material. I mean, I didn't
it's fine.
dislike it. I mean, I liked it a lot.
It's a fine film.
Logan, I don't think this is going to be the year comic book movies get Oscars. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go with Call Me by Your Name.
I really like to see Logan get it. I would love to see Logan get it. Again, we're gonna go back into my nerdiness. I've been reading comics since as long as I can remember, and for years now, there have been great comic book films. It's nice to see Heath Ledger pick up an award for Dark Knight. It would be nice to see Logan pick up for Best Adapted Screenplay. But, again, I don't think it will. If it does, I will flip the table, and we will put it on camera. But if that's kind of a real dark horse pick, I'd like Mudbound to pick it up. I loved Mudbound. So far I've got two picks where I'd really like to see Mudbound get it. But I think it's going to be Call Me By Your Name because they tend to give the screenplay awards to films that have more awards in general. Mudbound only has 3 nominations, where Call Me By Your Name has 4, and one of them's in the top spot.
Yeah.
Next is Best Director, which is Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread, and Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water.
I think it's easier to get rid of a couple than to choose my top. I'm going to have to say Get Out was an amazing movie. It was a cultural phenomena, and it really is the movie we needed. That being said, I'm not sure Get Out is going to get it done in this category. I'm not sure Christopher Nolan's going to get it done. He's going to continue to make incredible movies, and is this the movie that he's going to get Best Director for? Maybe, but also maybe not.
I think he might pick up the BAFTA, honestly. I think he might.
That being said, I think I'm going to have to either go with Phantom Thread as my top pick, and then Shape of Water as my second.
I keep saying that with Jordan Peele and Greta Gerwig, this is their first time up to bat, and they both made incredible films. Incredible films. Get Out's my number 1 film of the year. Lady Bird's probably in my top 10 right now. I haven't really sat down to really flesh out my top 10. But that being said, first-time directors don't always tend to get it. And Academy likes to play politics with films that they overlooked, or directors that they should have given awards to years and years ago. A lot of people feel this way with Martin Scorsese winning for The Departed. But I think this year it's going to be Guillermo del Toro, and it's hard for me to say that it's them retroactively giving it to him, because that film is gorgeous. It's a beautiful film. It deserves to be with all these nominations. Everything it's nominated for, it definitely deserves the nominations for. And Guillermo del Toro, I think, is a capable and beautiful enough director that he should get this award. I think he deserves this award for making such an incredible film. I think he deserves this award for continuously making such incredible films and being overlooked completely for Pan's Labyrinth in 2006. It's rare when I call Christopher Nolan a dark horse for a directing award, because Christopher Nolan's probably the only director that has twice taken my number 1 spot in a year. That's Memento and Dark Knight. So it's a shame that I'm going to go against a man who has brought me so much joy over the years, but to go for another wonderful director, I don't feel too bad.
Yeah. And I'd have to agree with all of that.
Yeah. Now we get into the acting awards. We're going to start with Best Supporting Actor, which is Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project, Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, and Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Now, I've seen all of these movies, and they're all very fantastic movies. I'm just going to get rid of Christopher Plummer and All the Money in the World.
Which I don't want to discount him. I absolutely don't think he's going to win. He won for Beginners a few years ago, which was a wonderful performance. I don't want to discount him completely, because let's look at what he did. He came in and pretty much saved the movie from being thrown out for reasons.
In literally 9 days, he and Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Williams all came in 9 days, got it done. That's an incredible feat.
That is professionalism at its highest, and I love Christopher Plummer. I've loved him my entire life. But he's got his Academy Award already.
Yeah.
He deserved this nomination, though, so good for you, Christopher Plummer.
And great job with Ridley Scott, too. I mean, very well done. We already talked about our snubs, so I think it's only fair that Willem Dafoe gets it. If you haven't seen Florida Project, I really urge you to do so. It's such a human film, and the way he plays his character as the hotel manager who who cares about these people, these poor, not so well off people, and yet has to, you know, be authoritative over them and, you know, run this hotel at the same time. It's a very fine line, and he does it so well in this film. There's a scene where he has to kick a resident out, and the internal conflict that you can see him and his character, it's he has to do something, but he doesn't want to. It's played so well, and he plays it with such subtlety, and it's so complex. So Florida Project, Willem Dafoe is my number one pick. I'd also be okay with Sam Rockwell. I really want Willem Dafoe. I think the Academy is gonna give it to Sam Rockwell. But Paul, what do you think?
I also think Rockwell's going to get it. He's a wonderful actor. He's wonderful in everything. He's wonderful in this film. There's no reason that Sam Rockwell shouldn't get it. I love Woody Harrelson in that film as well. He's such a great authority in that film. And I haven't seen the Florida Project, so I can't really talk about Willem Dafoe, even though I love Willem Dafoe, and he's one of those great character actors who puts his heart into everything he does. So I can only imagine how, just based off of this description, how wonderful he is in the film. My personal pick, even though I think Rockwell's going to get it, is Richard Jenkins. Richard Jenkins is another great character actor who's done so much and is so good in everything he does, and he's so good in Shape of Water. He steals so many scenes in that movie, and he breaks your heart, and you fall in love with him. And by the time you get to the film's conclusion, you just want to be this man's best friend.
Yeah, his character is the kind of character you just find yourself thinking about. Like, I would be okay with having a movie just about that character.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Del Toro fleshed out a beautiful character, and Richard Jenkins carried that so well. I think this is only Richard Jenkins' second nomination after The Visitor, the Tom McCarthy film, which I'm a huge fan of Tom McCarthy, but I guess that doesn't really have any bearing here. But Richard Jenkins in The Visitor is wonderful. He's wonderful in this film, 6 Feet Under, everything I've seen him in. I'd like for him to win this award, but I do think Sam Rockwell's getting it. Best Supporting Actress: Mary J. Blige in Mudbound, Allison Janney in I, Tonya, Leslie Manville in Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf in Lady Bird, Octavia Spencer in The Shape of Water.
Wow, some really great actresses here. I think my top pick, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between Leslie Manville in Phantom Thread and Laurie Metcalf in Lady Bird. I would be over the moon if either of them got that. That being said, I haven't seen Mudbound, I, Tonya, so I don't know about Mary J. Blige and Allison Janney. Octavia Spencer is very, very great in Shape of Water, but I feel like, you know, she's been in the top spot a couple of times now.
And she picked up the award for The Help.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's going to continue to do great stuff, and this movie, she doesn't really do anything new, in my opinion. She's going to make a movie in a couple years that's really just going to be the one, another big one. So I think it's going to be Laurie Metcalf or Leslie Manville.
Yeah, I loved Octavia Spencer in Shape of Water. She definitely deserved the award for The Help. I wish she would have gotten a nomination for Fruitvale Station, and that's a whole different video. So I'm going to get off of that before I get angry. Mary J. Blige was wonderful in Mudbound. I don't think she's going to get it this year, but I think she should get it for song, as I already said. If you're going to nominate her twice, please give her one of them. Please give her the one for the song, so that I can go to sleep better at night. Leslie Manville is so good in Phantom Thread. She owns so many of those scenes. It's a rarity when someone can stand next to Daniel Day-Lewis and steal a scene from him.
Yeah.
And she does it. She does it quite often in that film.
Her character puts his character in place several times, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
But Mine is a toss-up between Allison Janney for I, Tonya and Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird. Allison Janney picked up the Golden Globe, so I think she has a pretty good shot at it. She's wonderful in that film. She is vicious and vile and everything she needs to be. She is a lot unlike I've ever seen Allison Janney, because I love her in The West Wing. I loved her in Drop Dead Gorgeous. She's just wonderful in so much, and she's great in this film. And Laurie Metcalf is a national treasure.
Yes, she is.
Listen to me, YouTube. Laurie Metcalf, you're still calling her Jackie from Roseanne, and you need to stop. You need to see this film, and you need to start calling her Laurie Metcalf, because the ending when she goes to... I'm going to start crying right now.
Oh, man.
Because
you're going to make me cry, because that movie made me cry.
Because, God damn it. When she goes back into that airport, I'm not going to give too much away.
Let me put it to you this way. Laurie Metcalf is my mom, she's Paul's mom, and she's your mom, God damn it. So watch this movie.
Watch this movie. Please. Laurie Metcalf, I really want you to win this award. If you somehow watch this, Laurie Metcalf, I love you to death.
We love you.
And that episode you did of Horace and Pete is still one of my favorite things ever done. And now we come to Best Actor. Timothée Chalamet for Call Me By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Whew.
Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters here.
Yeah, I think it's another category where it's easier to eliminate some than to choose my top pick, so let's do that. I didn't get to see Roman J. Israel Esquire. I think that title is kind of a mouthful, by the way.
Yeah, and I hear Denzel's phenomenal in it,
yeah.
But again, we come to this point where Denzel is an incredible actor. He's incredible in everything he does, even if the film's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
But he has 2 Academy Awards, one for Best Supporting Actor in 1989 for Glory, and Best Actor in 2001 for Training Day. So I feel like he's one of those nominee pads right now where they're like, we need a 5th guy. Denzel was good. Let's put in Denzel.
Yeah. Denzel's not going to get it. Daniel Kaluuya, really great film, Get Out. His performance is so subtle. The fear that he has in some of the scenes is so meticulously played, to the point where you see his internal conflict, and he's really going places with his career, honestly.
Yeah, I'm real excited for Black Panther.
Yeah. You're going to see more and more from Daniel Kaluuya for sure.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, my top picks are going to have to be either Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread. This is the film where he quit acting afterwards. In his character and the way he portrays him is so very well done. That being said, I'd be okay with Timothée Chalamet, a very up-and-coming actor. You saw him in Lady Bird as well this year.
Right.
He has a surprisingly long list of acting credits, and I encourage everyone to check him out. He's not just this new kid on the block. He's paid his dues, and he's proving that he can be a very versatile and very nuanced actor.
Right.
So that being said, Daniel Day-Lewis or Timothée Chalamet.
All right. Let me start with, again, I don't think Denzel's getting it. Daniel Kaluuya is putting in performance after performance right now. Every time I see him pop up in something, it's more incredible than the last thing I saw him pop up in. And between this and at least the second episode of Black Mirror, he's by far and away going to be one of the greatest actors up and coming. I'd put him up probably against Michael B. Jordan, who's also going to be in Black Panther, as someone that as soon as I saw them, I knew they were going to be a star, and this film proves it. But I think this isn't his year, and I hope his year comes soon, because he definitely deserves something. That being said, I haven't seen Call Me By Your Name, but I as you said, I've seen Timothée Chalamet in so many other things that I can only imagine how good he is in this film. So I think that's definitely the next film that I'm jumping on is Call Me by Your Name, because it's the only one in the picture race that I haven't seen, and I really need to correct that, because I love Armie Hammer and I love Michael Stuhlbarg.
Yes.
So
very incredible.
And then we come to Daniel Day-Lewis. I loved him in this film. I love him in this film. But Daniel Day-Lewis has 3 Academy Awards already. If he wins this year, that'll be only the second time that someone has won 4 acting Oscars. The only other person to do such was Katharine Hepburn. And there's a technicality on that, because Cate Blanchett won an Academy Award for playing Katharine Hepburn in The Aviator. So technically she has 5 Oscars. That's just something to take home for you. But
how do you know these things?
Because I am a ridiculous human being.
This is why he's always my guest on the
show. But this is Gary Oldman's year. He's perfect in Darkest Hour, and again, I'm thinking of scenes that make me a little weepy, and his scene alone on the train in that film, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, is inspired. His entire performance throughout the film is just incredible. He disappears into the role. He disappears into every role. And much like I gave Laurie Metcalf so much love, I think Gary Oldman is possibly the greatest actor today.
I would easily agree with that. And I would be okay with that win.
He's incredible in this film. He's incredible in everything he's ever done. And if he doesn't win this year, like he didn't win for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy a few years ago. Now we come to Best Actress. Sally Hawkins, The Shape of Water. Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Margot Robbie, I, Tonya. Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird. And Meryl Streep, The Post.
Oof. Another one. Another good, well fleshed out category. Let's talk about who I think's not going to win. Meryl Streep is a wonderful actress.
She okay?
She is more than okay, Paul.
She
is more than all right. That being said, I feel like she's a Academy favorite. Obviously, she's got what is it like?
Ridiculous amount of nominations.
Yeah, so many.
Half of the films she really didn't deserve the nominations for. One of the wins she didn't deserve for. Iron Lady's not that good. She was not that good in it.
Whoa.
That's right. I'm throwing down the gamut. Come at me, Meryl Streep.
Okay. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of nominations that she gets that I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like Into the Woods. She wasn't great in that film.
You know, August Ocean's County. I feel like she should have won for that. There's a lot of different ones. I'm like, she won for this, but she didn't win for that.
Yeah, because she has 3 awards. Again, with Daniel Day-Lewis. It's her, Daniel Day-Lewis, Jack Nicholson, and I believe Walter Brennan are the only actors that have 3 awards. And then, of course, as we discussed, Katharine Hepburn has 4. So I think her time for winning awards is way past. She's a fine actress. I like her in a lot of things. I think she's okay in a lot of things. I think a lot of her past roles give her a lot more clout. But she was fine in The Post.
Yeah, she's not going to get it.
Let's hope not.
Let's talk about Saoirse Ronan in Lady Bird.
She's so charming in that film.
She is absolutely darling. And the coming-of-age story that her and Laurie Metcalf tell through this daughter-mother relationship is absolutely beautiful and touching.
Yeah,
it's and poignant, very.
Just great.
I would be okay with that win.
I honestly, I would too. I really liked her in that film. I really like that film in general. And she really carries it. And Saoirse Ronan has time enough to pick up her win. I'm not sure she's going to get it, but I mean, from Atonement to this, she's incredible in everything. So she's going to be picking up this award sometime in the future if she doesn't pick it up this year. And I don't think this is her year, though.
Margot Robbie, I haven't seen I, Tonya.
Oh, she's so good.
That being said, I'm just basing this off of other performances I've seen from her. She's all right. I mean, she's okay.
I would say once you see I, Tonya, you're going to be singing a completely different tune about Margot Robbie.
And maybe
honestly, because she's fine in a lot of other things. She was really good in Wolf of Wall Street. She was okay in Suicide Squad. That one she did with Will Smith. Who cares about the title? The movie wasn't that good. She was okay in that.
Yeah,
but
I know what you're talking about.
But this film, she steps up in the leading actress category.
Frances McDormand, she's another favorite. She is absolutely phenomenal in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. She plays this broken woman who only wants justice after the brutal murder of her daughter, and that just she is this character.
She's great in this film.
I'd be okay with that. Sally Hawkins is another incredible actress. Shape of Water was an absolutely phenomenal film. Talk about an actress who has so little to work with, and she puts out so much.
She throws everything into this performance.
Yeah.
And it's not that Sally Hawkins is new to the game, but she's new to a lot of people because of this movie. If you didn't see like Happy Go Lucky, or you didn't see Layer Cake or Paddington, she's incredible. She's always been incredible. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see Guillermo del Toro say, "Hey, you're incredible. Come be incredible in my movie."
And don't speak.
And she pours it all on the screen. She leaves everything for you. I really, really want her to win. She's my personal pick, but I think Frances McDormand is getting it. She won the Golden Globe, so that's generally a good indicator, but not a perfect one.
So you say Frances McDormand?
I think Frances McDormand's getting it, even though she won in '96 for Fargo. I feel like this is just another great notch on her belt.
I feel like this category is even harder to pick from than the Best Actor category. I'm going to go my final pick, Sally Hawkins. I'd also be okay with Saoirse Ronan. She's phenomenal in Lady Bird, but again, I think it's Sally Hawkins.
Absolutely.
And now we're on to the thing you've all been waiting for, the Best Picture nominees. Paul, what are the nominees?
Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
And I'm going to let you lead this one.
This is a great category.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I were to shake anything out of the category off the top, it's probably going to be Dunkirk. It's probably going to be The Post. I think they were the dark horses this year, like the darkest of the dark horses. They're not going to draw a lot of Academy votes, even though they're both wonderful films. But that being said, anything else, it's kind of up in the air. Get Out could attract a lot of the newer voters after they had that shakeup a few years ago. It could pull a lot of those voters in. It's wonderful. It's my favorite film of the year. I want it to win, and that has certainly happened to me a couple of times where I thought my favorite pick wasn't going to take it, and it did. Spotlight a couple of years ago was my favorite film of the year, and I thought it didn't have a chance. So Get Out could easily get it, but at the same time, it's kind of unlikely.
And again, this category is so just perfect movies across the board. I'm going to have to agree with Paul. We can get rid of Dunkirk and The Post. Great movies, but I don't think they're going to cut it this year.
Yeah, I think we could probably shake Darkest Hour too, as good as it really is.
Really? You
think
so?
Yeah, I feel like it's, again, one of those films, like, Gary Oldman's performance is so good in it that it really elevates the film. Not to say that it would have been bad otherwise, but it definitely gives it more of a mystique. It's a great film. It's a really great film, but I don't think it's going to grab it.
Now, I think the Academy is going to go with Phantom Thread. I would be very happy if they picked Call Me By Your Name. It's a story that I feel a lot of people can relate to. It's a love story. and it talks about love and loss, and the things all human beings go through. And I think that's such a relatable story. I was very touched by it. So yeah, Phantom Thread, I think the Academy's going to go for. I would also be very okay with Call Me By Your Name.
Call Me By Your Name is the only one I haven't seen in the category, which, again, I think is going to be the next film I get on, because I like everything I've heard about it. It's just kind of the one that's eluded me thus far. Darkest Hour, I don't think is getting it. Dunkirk's not getting it. And The Post isn't getting it, which leaves us with Get Out, which, as I've already said, could easily take it. It could easily not. Lady Bird is the best reviewed film of what they say all time. Like not just 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but like 100% with A's across the board. Instead of something could be 100%, but it's got a lot of B's and B pluses, but it is the best reviewed film of all time. Lady Bird could take it. Best reviewed film of all time. Phantom Thread is beautiful. Phantom Thread's going to pick up some awards, I hope. But I don't know. They don't tend to. They just don't tend to give Paul Thomas Anderson awards, because he's done film after film after film that are just amazing. And every year that he's nominated for something, there's just someone who's right there, just that much better. And the last time that he was a good frontrunner for Best Picture, Best Director, it was There Will Be Blood, and he lost to the Coen brothers' No Country for Old Men, which is one of my favorite films of all time. Both of them are, actually, and I can't be mad at that pick, because the Coen brothers are just amazing. But he could get it this year. I don't think he's going to get director, but he could get picture. That being said, we're left with Shape of Water, which, out of what's left, it's most likely going to pick up some awards. I think it's going to get director. I think it's going to get set production. But I don't think it's going to get picture, just because they'll feel like they've done enough to recognize it at this point that a movie about a fish man might turn some people off. Who knows? I don't know. Get Out's still my favorite film of the year. I wouldn't be upset if Shape of Water took it. I generally have a rule of thumb that if something's in my top 10, if it wins Best Picture, I'm okay with that, even if something that is nominated is my favorite film of the year. But I think that brings us to Three Billboards, which, honestly, with the political climate right now, might be the film. It's probably going to take it. I don't say that lightly, because, once again, so many of these films are so good and they're just as worthy to take it. We don't have a situation like last year with La La Land, where a film so undeserving of Best Picture was so close to winning it. Just so many awards. It's okay. It's an okay film. You'll probably hear me talking a little bit about it during our look forward that should be on the channel right now, so go ahead and watch that. But I think it's Three Billboards.
Yeah. So, what did you think of our picks? Maybe you agree with them, maybe you disagree with them. Let us know in the comments below. And hit that subscribe button, that way you get notifications every time we post. Check out our other shows on the channel, Drinking Age Movies, where Paul and Manny Classic review movies from 21 years ago, and Damn Fine Meats, where they make burgers and sandwiches based off of those movies. Yum. And as always,
crush your enemies, see them driven before you, hear the lamentation of their women.